Hi everyone, I'm Sunny, and today's pick a card reading is a celebrity crush reading. It's going to be about writers, so I think I might kind of go quick on this one. But if you guys have a crush on a well, it could be any writer of sorts, but if you guys have a crush on them, man or woman, this reading's for you. So I have 3 piles you guys can choose from left to right. I have pile 1, 2, and 3. If you need more time, you know the drill. Pause the video, skip to the timestamp when you're ready, and then I'll see your pile of choice. So I will start with the first one. So pile number 1. Think of the specific celebrity you're thinking about, your writer crush, your celebrity writer crush. And more or less, how are they? So with this one, you guys have the 6 of Pentacles upright. So, oops, sorry, it's kind of a cloudy day today, so, but I kind of like it. It's like just the perfect lighting, I think, for me, but that's my taste. With this pile, I think that you guys have like a crush on this celebrity who's very like stable, who's very like, I mean, it's to be expected with writers, I guess, because writing just takes some time when it comes to like coming up with ideas and jotting it down, and then finally like giving it like your manuscript, I think it's called, to your editor, and then having it back with revisions and stuff. So like they like to work slow, well, steady. Not everybody prefers to be slow, but they have steady workflow. They do work slow, but they're also someone that's very I think they're kind of mature. I think you might have a crush on someone that's kind of like, in comparison to you, in your age, a little bit, maybe a little bit older. Someone who's more secure in their finances, possibly, but they're also kind of more. Not saying that you're not hardworking. I'm saying that this person just has more experience when it comes to, I guess, having that financial, not gain, but like stability. It's like, they've worked longer or more hours, or they've sold more things, like physical things, because this is like physical, tangible things with this pentacle energy. So it's very likely that they had to sell a lot of like books or maybe magazines or a lot of these tangible things in order for them to get those assets, right? So they do manage their assets well with this one. I think they're very generous. Why did I say it like that? Why? Okay, let me just take a sip of water, because I think I sound terrible. They're very generous, is what I'm trying to say. With this pile, I think they're very generous. So I think they might support organizations, and I think that they might be very vocal about it. Why do I say it? Why do I sound like that? They might be very vocal about it when it comes to, I guess, their social media posts or something, that you could be following them, or maybe it's like their Twitter or something. But it just feels like, oh, like they're supporting this cause, or they're giving to this cause, or they do those like marathon stuff. Sorry, in order for them to, what is it called? Where they basically fund this cause, right? What are they called? Fundraisers. Why did I struggle? Maybe they also take their time to write, but I do feel that there's someone who really does their part in giving back to the community. So that's why you could also possibly like them. It's because you're someone that kind of gives back to the community. They consider the people and the organizations, and there's someone they're very philanthropic. There you go. I think I'm saying it right. They're very philanthropic. I get nervous when I don't know I'm saying words right sometimes, so I stutter. But you get what I'm saying. There's someone that could be they're kind of like, it gives me an Aquarian energy, but also like very comforting, like not that eccentric. They're just someone who really considers, Aquarian energy is not the only energy that considers like, organization, or why can't I say stuff? Organizations and such. It could also be like Pisces, but why am I? Oh, I swear, sometimes I think I'm getting like second puberty. My voice goes out so weird. But yeah, I apologize for that. It could be also like they could have like Pisces energy, or they could have planets in there. It could be Libra, Taurus too. They care. They could possibly care about animals, but maybe they just like to feed the homeless, or they like to give back to the community when it comes to like raising awareness for like certain ailments, diseases, for example. That could be one. But it does feel like there's someone that's very conscious that there needs to be this financial transactional thing going on if they want to be continuing to care for such social matters, for example. So there's someone that works hard. So they like to work hard, but they are very kind and considerate in that aspect of like, you know what, like maybe they themselves grow up kind of rough and limited with resources, so they're giving back to people that also need it. Things like that. Whew, that took my air away. Sorry, I'm a little lost of words. But yeah, this crush of yours, sorry, is someone that is very considerate. So maybe that's why you like them. It feels like they're a softer pentacle energy, but it's someone that really does care about people. So maybe that's why you like them. But you could also like the fact that they look like they're stable, that they know what they're doing. Or you could, and aside from their work, right? But as a person, that's how they are. And maybe that's why you're kind of interested to know how they are. So I hope you enjoyed that pile number 1. Next, I have pile 2. Pile number 2. You guys have the 8 of Cups reversed. So this celebrity writer crush of yours is someone that they could possibly bottle their feelings. Maybe writing's one way they process these things, right? Maybe they might struggle to be, how can I say this? They might struggle to be vocal about the things that they need from people emotionally, right? They're not someone that's easy to read, but they're someone that might take their time to kind of walk away from toxic situations, toxic people, possibly. I don't know why I'm struggling to talk in this reading a lot. It's like I keep mumbling and stuttering. Just, my words are not that great. But it does feel like there's someone that they're kind of trying to do their best to, I guess, walk away from people that are undeserving of them. Maybe that's what makes them a great writer. Sometimes it comes with like the territory, right? But sometimes artists are like that like the pain just kind of motivates you to do a lot of beautiful artwork and pieces and just interesting creativity that it's like without it, sometimes some people use that as motivation, right? So it takes a lot of them, a lot of their energy, but it also fuels them to, I guess, right? Right. But I do think that with this pile number 2, I do think that this person might not always choose, I guess, maybe relation. I think maybe they could be like, for example, a romance novelist, possibly, and you like their artwork, or you like, not their artwork, but you like their writing, or they could be someone who is a great poet, for example. It could be like that, and they write a lot of romance pieces, and you're like, wow, this person is just so full of emotion. It connects with you, but it also kind of like, it's a double-edged sword, because you still have to experience it, right? So this person experiences a lot of misfortune when it comes to having loving connections that are substantial. So that's with this one. And I think that maybe they're kind of maybe disappointed in people. They're upset about maybe those connections, but they push through. It does feel like this person struggles with that, but again, they just, you know what, they could also struggle feeling like emotionally abandoned by people. They're kind of stranded, so maybe they like leave them all running high with their emotions, but like no one's really, stepping up to that plate. So they're kind of like upset and disappointed that people don't do the same for them. So that's the kind of person they are, as a writer. Like, maybe you could like that part that they could write a lot about stuff like that, but maybe that could also be them as a person, that they just kind of struggle with that. So they channel and fuel their emotions onto paper and writing. So there's that. So I hope you enjoyed that pile number 2. Next is pile number 3. So you guys have the Hangman reversed. Pile number 3. Let me take a sip of water. Pile number 3, I think that you guys, your celebrity crush writer, is someone who maybe at first struggled to kind of get out of their mind their ideas. And maybe now they can actually, take action and like write stuff down. And they don't have issues with that anymore. That's great for them. But they could also be someone that takes, like, they're no longer taking their time to kind of take action. Or they could be that kind of person already. So, like, again, you take what resonates, and you do your own interpretation as well. But I do think this person might have struggled at some point overall too. Maybe because they didn't have the confidence. Maybe they second guess themselves a lot when it comes to their work, or like people believing them. Maybe nobody believed in them, and they finally decided to take that plunge because they had no other choice. It could be that, or it could not. It doesn't always have to be an ultimatum, but it does feel. Sorry, I'm not tired. Like, I'm not bored with you guys. I'm just a little exhausted. But yeah, I do feel that you guys, your celebrity crush is someone that isn't as flaky, not too airy anymore, not too like, well, if I take this, what about this? And if I do this, like, or if I do this with this character and this with this other character, will it kind of mesh well, or will people dislike it? I'm really considering all options and weighing all options because I consider what everybody else is doing but myself. They're not in that phase anymore. They're not like that anymore. Or at least they're trying not to be, because they can be a little too not dependent of people, but more so. What's that word? What is that word I'm trying to say? No, it's not codependency. And they don't necessarily rely on people, but they want to appease them. They want to keep the peace. So it feels like there's someone that's just not going to consider people. They're taking action. They're kind of like unhanging themselves from this position. Like, oh, I could just turn around, like they just did in this card, and just walk away and just like write something. Or it's like they're not someone that's going to be disturbed in their mind because they have a lot going on and they're just like piling piling a lot of things and not actually taking one course of action for at least one problem. They're not. So that's great for them. But as a person, I think that they might have had to abandon their position where they were at when it comes to maybe becoming a writer, because they might have been doing something that they weren't happy with, or they might have been living a lie. Like, truthfully, it's like they could be like having an office job, for example, and they're like, but I just don't like this. Like, I like some of it, but I don't like every element of this because it doesn't work for me. The formula doesn't quite work. So I need to do things like maybe from home or like at my own pace, because I don't always feel that great. It's mentally straining to be around people. They could need that space to kind of have diversity. So maybe they finally acknowledge that could be the person that they are behind closed doors. So kudos for them, but it does feel like they had to surrender to a lot of the things that was stopping them. Their own mind was kind of stopping them, and it was they were probably the only objection to get to success. And they learned that they had to kind of stop putting themselves at the very last, or putting their desires on hold, because they didn't have the confidence to be more direct. They didn't have the confidence to walk away from things that they themselves were feeling like it was very constricting, very suffocating. So that's great for them, but I do feel that's the kind of person that they are. And if you vibe with them, that's great, but that's what's more or less going on with your celebrity crush and how they kind of are. So thank you all for listening to the very end. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and stay tuned for more readings. So bye bye everybody, and have a great day.